Inside this modern office, David and Sarah are deadlocked over a project timeline. Their body language tells the story of an interaction that's broken down. David is leaning forward, speaking rapidly and using words like look and clear. He is trying to force Sarah to see his vision of the big picture. Sarah has pulled back, her posture defensive and her speech slow. She keeps using feeling-based words, telling David that the current pace is uncomfortable and that they shouldn't rush into a mistake. Although they are looking at the same spreadsheet, their conflicting processing styles act as a barrier. David's visual urgency and Sarah's cautious physical pace ensure they are talking past one another. When we face this resistance, we argue our logic forcefully or simply fake agreement to end the conversation. Both choices fail to establish trust required to move forward. We often assume that connecting with someone requires shared opinions or a personal friendship. Neuro-linguistic programming defines this connection as rapport, a structural state of mutual influence and responsiveness. This means you can maintain a strong, solid bridge of mutual influence even while your opinions remain completely separate. Facts don't create rapport. Responsiveness does. If rapport can exist in the middle of a disagreement, we need a systematic way to build it when a conversation begins to fail. Let's rewind this interaction and apply a different strategy from the start. We start with pacing. This is the process of meeting someone in their model of reality by walking at their speed before attempting to change their direction. Watch the waveforms. Sarah matches David's nonverbal rhythms, adjusting her posture, volume, and pauses until their frequencies align. But effective matching is harmonizing energy. Lapsing into exact robotic mimicry is easily detected and causes the other person to pull away. Synchronizing these micro-rhythms signals to the other person's unconscious mind that you are predictable, safe, and worthy of trust. With physical rhythms synchronized, the focus moves to the language Sarah uses to present her case. David uses visual predicates like perspective and view. Sarah's original response was kinesthetic, focusing on how the project felt. Sarah matches David's visual framing. She asks him to picture obstacles and explains how it might look if they don't adjust the schedule. To do this authentically, Sarah moves into what NLT calls second position. She stops defending her view and perceives the world through David's sensory filters. By adopting his visual framing, Sarah lowers David's cognitive load. He no longer has to translate her concerns into his own way of thinking, which reduces the friction in the exchange. Back in the present, the combativeness has dissolved. David is no longer leaning in aggressively because Sarah has effectively paced his reality. Now that rapport is established, Sarah can transition to leading. This is the point where she can guide David's behavior toward a calmer state. She tests the lead by slowly shifting her posture to a more relaxed, neutral position and lowering her speaking volume. Because they are synchronized, David follows. He unconsciously relaxes his shoulders and begins speaking at a lower, more measured volume to match Sarah. Influence depends on this progression. When you attempt to lead or persuade before establishing rapport, you are likely to meet immediate resistance. These tools aren't limited to office disputes. They apply to every interaction we have, from close partners to strangers. You can even use mismatching, intentionally breaking the established pace to signal the end of a conversation without needing to say it aloud. As the flowchart shows, rapport is a continuous loop. You must observe the other person's state, pace their current reality, and only then lead them toward a shared outcome. Effective communication does not require you to abandon your own beliefs. It simply requires you to swim in the other person's current before you attempt to change the tide.